The next map gonna be Daybreak. We are already starting the countdown, and it's time to see, can Hasu fight back? It's definitely a map that can support a very long game, but a lot of times Zerg enjoys that here.
Let's see if Zenio is fancying his late game. He has, of course, especially coming through the open break, he's had a lot of really long games, actually. It wasn't like, oh, quick 2-0 stomps all the way through. He's had to seriously tax his stamina on the first couple of days of this tournament, and I would say he's pretty comfortable going into the long game.
Yeah, certainly. Well, let's go ahead, get into this game, and introduce these players.
That's right, guys. We are here on Daybreak. I hope you're all enjoying the fantastic tournament here at the Intel Extreme Masters. Now we're going into game number 2 here between the Blue Zerg in the top right-hand corner. We have Liquid's Zenio. His opponent, though, looking to bring it back after going down 0-1. This really the success story at the moment, I would say. He came here to cast this tournament, ladies and gentlemen. Not only has he stepped in, he's showing us some absolutely fantastic play. Let's hear it from Mao's Hasuobs.
With these players, really famous within the community. And Hasuobs actually open up with Pile in the main. Could just be for the Forge that you like to hide sometimes.
Yeah.
For various different reasons. Sometimes to make them think one way when you're doing it another way. And sometimes to scare them when the first Overlord gets there. There's a lot of different things that putting your Forge in your main base can do for you.
Yeah, it takes just that little bit longer for the Overlord, of course, to go from the natural back into the main base to confirm that the Forge is there. So that could be frustrating here. For Zenio. Let's see what Hasu wants to do with that. He's putting his pull down now. Pretty normal timing here. And it looks like Hasu's just going to be going for a Nexus anyway.
Yeah, he should be going for that Nexus and then right into the Forge and another Pylon so that he can just be completely safe against anything Zenio's doing. And by the timing of Zenio's pool, this should work out just fine for Hasuobs. So
he goes for the Forge, actually.
Huh.
Interesting. A little bit later, but probably will still be fine. I mean,
yeah.
Unless Lings are like barreling across the map or something like that, he's just going to be completely cool.
No, he should be fine here. I mean, that's actually really safe. A lot of times you actually see people throw the Nexus down first,
exactly,
but
yeah.
Daybreak has a little bit wider choke, so he's just playing it a little bit safer than, you know, sometimes like a top-end Korean pro may.
Yeah, and of course this means that he's not going to have a Forge in his wall off, so any sort of roach timing that Zenio pops by isn't going to be able to snipe off an upgrade or something like that. And the downside to that, of course, he has one less building in his wall off early on, so he'll probably stick like a gateway in there or something. But no real big deal, because we're not seeing a super fast rush or anything like that.
Yeah, you know, while Zenio, a lot of his play makes me think, wow, this guy's kind of aggressive, still knows how to macro and play long game, though. I don't think he's going to attack super early in this matchup. I think, especially after that last game, he's going to look at that and say, okay, you know what? I can play the macro game against this guy. Absolutely, I can hold his 3-base attacks.
Yeah, that really was sort of what we saw in game number 1 there. It acted as a confidence booster for Zenio, because he probably, I mean, of course, these guys I think have played before, but not in a little while.
Yeah.
So both of them are a little bit unknown quantities to each other at the moment, and they're sort of feeling each other out. And they got a good feel in game number 1. Zenio's going to be pretty happy with how that turned out, and there's no reason for him here not to think he won't go into another long game. He'd be happy with that.
Certainly. Well, Hasuobs, if he goes into another long game, I wonder if he's going to try double robo again, because I feel like Zenio showed he really knows how to deal with that. He knows how to deal with it so well that the 4th base didn't even die, and that's I mean, for a double robo build, you feel like you're always going to grab that 4th. So, you know, I don't know if he's going to do that again. I feel like he might go for a more standard composition.
Well, don't forget as well that in game number 1, the double robo was actually working out quite well until we had that clutch Overseer seeing both. And he didn't even react when he saw the one. But the moment he saw the second one, Zenio immediately went into, I know exactly what to do against this mode. And we saw such a good demonstration of him picking that apart.
Yeah, it was kind of a clinic on exactly how to do it correctly. Well, throwing down a second gateway right there, just for part of the wall. And it's kind of scary to have a big open gaping wall in for too long in this matchup, just in case they go quick speedlings. Also, a quick robo going down. So we actually have a lot of possibilities here for Hasuobs. He could go for some sort of Warp Prism harassment. He could go for an Immortal all-in. He might just be going for a 3rd base.
We'll see what he ends up choosing here. He has just taken his third gas as Zenio goes for his gases at his natural. Those are actually his first two, by the way. He hasn't taken the gases in his main base just yet. And an Overlord from Zenio is going to spot the gas timings here from Hasuobs.
And yeah, he's doing a great job. He's actually pincering in with the Overlords, one coming in from the main, one from the natural, and he sees the Robo. And that's really all he was looking for. What is your tech? Is this Stargate, a Twilight, or a Robo? And knowing that, he's going to know how to play from here.
Yeah, he's going straight up into that Roach War, and he's going to be feeling pretty safe in the knowledge that he knows exactly what his opponent is doing. Just more and more drones popping out right now. Zenio sees absolutely no reason to go into full-on army mode. He goes, okay, I see the Robo now. You're going to spend some time grabbing your stuff up, and while you do, I'm just going to get to what I feel is the ideal response. The current work account, 54 to 45 in favor of Zenio. Supplies, 65 to 56.
Well, right now, Hasuobs is making his second observer, which tells us that he is going to be going for a third base. When you get two observers, it's always going to mean that. You're not going to attack with two observers. There's no point. So by going into his third base and having these two, he's going to see any attacks incoming beforehand. So he should be able to have his sentries, his immortals, and anything else he has in the right position, which means for Zenio, an attack might not be the best course of action. He may want to just continue working on his economy and his tech tree.
No, that's a really good point, actually. You want to be able to use an observer to check out your opponent's tech, which is why we see Hasu here. He sees that the macro hatch has gone down, also sees the layer timing, but you really do want that second one out there to also be scouting for little counterattack routes. If your opponent sees that an observer's in your base and you've only got one, and you're simultaneously taking a third, things like Ling run-bys become really, really dangerous.
Yeah. Well, a lot of Lings are actually being produced right now. May try to run in there and just like force a really quick cancel. That's always a possibility, especially with Hasuobs units out here. And you know what? Is Hasuobs actually trying to trick Zenio right now? Zenio hasn't seen the third. So he may be thinking, oh, is this an Immortal Sentry push? That's, you know, a reasonable timing that he had those units out there. So Zenio right now, he's got to be careful. But I think he may already know that this is not the case.
He certainly suspects it. I mean, if he thought this was going to be, he would probably retreat like to his watchtower. As it currently stands, though, he's just constantly trying to take control of the offensive watchtower here, running straight by that Zealot just to see if there is an army out and about. He sees there isn't, though, and now he knows the third is there. He's moving straight towards it, but Hasuobs has his army ready to defend.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to get any real damage done here, most likely, but you know, he was preparing for the attack, so he stopped at about 59 drones, so his economy wasn't exactly where he wanted, instantly going for that fourth base and adding a ton of drones as well. So Zenio realizes what's going on, that he can't attack, and look at this, working on his economy, working on his tech tree. Just exactly the right response.
Precisely. He doesn't want to attempt to attack in here anyway and risk losing a bunch of workers and then not have to worry about what's going on back home. He's just going to be finishing up his infestation pit. We should see those pathogen glands come down right this minute. There we go. Another hatchery going up as well in that forward fourth base location, which helps with that creep spread out into the center of the map, the one on the bottom right, just that little bit more vulnerable, and he's going for his Spire as well. So things progressing very normally up the tech tree for Zenio, but not before he tried to see if there was an opening at the third. When he saw there wasn't one, though, he responded correctly. Yeah.
Well, now it's time to see, will Zenio find this second Robo that just got started here for Hasuobs? He's going to need to fly something there, and oh my god, it looks like he may.
So sick.
Oh, this is just perfect scout timing. Zenio is so on top of his game today.
He really... That timing is so unbelievable. Like, just as those buildings were about to finish, boom, gets scouted straight away. Hasu must be wondering what he has to do to get a break here.
Yeah.
And Zenio's scouting has just been phenomenal this series.
But I have to say, actually, Hasuobs is doing a good job, too. He just flew an observer in the main, lost it, but got to see if there was a hive going up, and there wasn't. So that tells him he has some time to work up his Colossus count and be able to actually hit a nice timing attack. But still, Zenio's scouting is just, it's nothing short of completely awesome. I feel like Hasuobs has to be very careful with how many Colossi he makes, because if they just get wiped out by a big Corruptor influx, he might be in trouble.
Well, Hasu does have some time, like you mentioned, to get up to that ideal army, and when he does as well, Zenio is actually currently on 93 workers, Artosis. So if Hasu gets too many more units and the supplies are comparable when the attack happens, Zenio is going to have a lot of that supply basically gobbled up by those workers.
Yeah, well, he is starting to add a lot more spine crawlers, which is what you want to do right before the Protoss attack. Bank up a little bit of extra money and then make them into defensive structures. And he has a pretty good number of them so far, so that's going to help to slow down his opponent a little bit. But Hasuobs actually is getting ready to take a 4th base of his own.
Yep, and I like this move from him as well. We have got Extended Thermal Lance halfway done already, so those Colossi are going to be very useful with that army when he decides to move over. He's actually getting quite close to max at the moment. He's at about 180, getting a Warp Prism to fly on by as well. Always a great choice here when you're going to be doing your push. +3 has just started. I don't know if he wants to wait for +3 to finish, because it will take a little while, even with that Chrono Boost, but he's now starting to get that army composition where he feels pretty comfortable moving around the map.
Yeah, and, you know, he's preparing for the later game. I think he's realized that after that last game, he's not actually going to kill Zenio with this. He's got to start pushing out and try to get something done, but he's already got that Stargate on the way. He's in position to easily take his 4th base. He's got the right probe count. Everything's looking pretty good for Hasuobs, but, yeah, again, this attack has to at least begin.
And he's starting the Stargate significantly earlier as well, so he is preparing to go into that late game much sooner. Don't forget, of course, in the previous game, we saw Zenio basically attacking with the Broodlords long before there was a Vortex in play, and that really frustrated the heck out of Hasuobs. That is not going to happen in this particular game, as it looks like Hasu is gearing up to go via the bottom of the map.
Well, he's starting to push out a little bit. Time to push the creep back and start to make his poke. Of course, 4 Colossi can kill a lot of Zerglings. Zenio, though, starting to juke and jive around the map as well, trying to do some counterattacks, it looks like.
The army supply is actually marginally higher for Hasuobs at the moment. Zenio has worked down his drone count to 80 right now, and Hasu splitting his forces a little bit just now to try and pick off some creep, and then reuniting his army, realizing he needs to make sure it doesn't accidentally get picked off there. And he's feeling pretty good about it right now, because with his next push, actually +3 is going to be complete, as well as a Warp Prism goes into the main.
Well, that Warp Prism, let's see how much damage that can actually get done. Zenio already has double Queen and 2 Spine Crawlers in there, so not doing a lot quite yet. But it is definitely going to be annoying at the least. And at the same time, in the 3rd base of Zenio, oh my god, in the 3rd base, he sent in a Warp Prism, but he's not warping anything in. His supply is just about maxed out. Oh, that would have been a good situation to possibly get that Spire.
Oh, that Chuck Norris Zealot in the 3rd base, not able to do too much, but we do have another round of Zealots in the main that are actually completely demolishing this mineral line. So really, really nice job there from Hasuobs, just trying to do his best to tax the effectiveness of Zenio's multitasking and proving that he is able to do so. The first round of Zealots will get cleaned up. The second round, which I think were attacking the spawning pool, they will not get it. I think a couple of nice transfuses going on. Total number of workers killed 20, and all of a sudden Zenio, well, he's down to 68, quote unquote, but that's still all right.
Yeah, his economy's still fine for now. He's actually extending down to the bottom right, taking that 5th base. And his Spine Crawler wall is really healthy, which is very important right now. He's in a situation where it's going to take Hasuobs a long time to kill absolutely anything. And he's getting all of his upgrades out of the way. He's even getting drops right now, which is a great thing to see. Drops are another way that instead of just Hasuobs running around the map and making the slow Broodlord army go around to defend, he's also going to start doing that with some drops of his own.
Absolutely. He's going to be able to send even the odd Overlord, well, like when Hasuobs potentially is poking into the base, he'll be able to send an odd Overlord or two just with a couple of roaches to make sure he keeps Hasuobs on his toes. And that's going to really frustrate him. So I'd love to see a little bit more of that. We have got another War Prism popping out. The Broodlords are now in play on the field, by the way, guys. We've gone up to 9 at the moment for Zenio. And the mothership is about 2/3 of the way complete, so Zenio's going to have this nice little cushiony window here where the Broodlords can sort of poke, maybe not necessarily completely destroy him or anything like that, but just gauge what Hasuobs has before the mothership's on the field. Yeah,
I don't think it's time for a final engagement quite yet. I mean, he's getting a pretty scary amount of broods. He's going to be at 13 in a moment. He does have 13 infestors as well, and that's great, but Is he actually ready to go in for a kill move? No, I don't think so. And look at this, a nice drop. I love this move by Zenio. He might get a lot of damage done here.
Yeah, there's a decent number of speedlings in that composition, and Hasu's army is around his 4th base. He was basically maxed out, so he couldn't even warp in too much to defend, and they are tearing apart everything here. Oh, a massive fungal growth on the sentries, but couldn't get the second one off, so they do stay alive. There's a lot of energy on those, and now Hasu replenishes his army by warping them in the main. These lings and roaches will get mopped up, but Zenio equaling the damage from earlier. 15 workers killed.
And he even, oh man, look at that. He got the Templar Archives. That's very nice, because anyone that watches a lot of Hasuobs knows he likes his High Templars in that late game scenario. And that's going to take him a long time to actually replace. It's pretty expensive. So Zenio's doing a perfect job right now and still being cost efficient at the front.
And we have an Immortal drop going on in the 3rd base location where the Greater Spire is. It's getting very low indeed, and he does get it. The Greater Spire goes down. No additional Broodlords can be morphed in. Now, there is another Spire there, so of course he's going to morph that into a Greater Spire straight after it completes it.
My God, and we have a huge fungal in the center of the map, catching a couple of these Colossi, and he will snipe them out. Just beautiful fungal growths here so far by Zenio. And somehow he did save that Spire over there.
84 hit points. The Zerglings actually took out the Infestors there. But the Warp Prism is still there. Hasuobs can just warp in 1 or 2 units here and kill off that remaining Spire, which is researching that Flyer Carapace. That would be super useful for him, but he only has 20 seconds to do it before that upgrade completes.
Well, you know, right now, Hasu, it's looking a little bit rougher than it was earlier on. Zenio is just playing a beautiful game. He's pushing when he should push. He's shoving when he should shove and dropping when he should as well. He's eliminated a lot of this tech, and look at that. Another drop incoming as he drew units up towards that 5th base. More Zealots being warped in at the 3rd of Zenio. But this drop is going to be really annoying.
Oh, and we have a run-by in the top left position as well. Now, the frustrating thing for Hasuobs in this position is that his army is stuck in the middle. He's not sure which way to go at this point. The Lings in the main base are completely tearing apart his infrastructure. The top left Nexus has gone down, and there's still a decent number of Lings surviving to take the 3rd. Hasuobs trying to defend the 3rd base right now, but he knows that the Broodlords are advancing towards the 4th. He is stuck between a rock and about 12 different hard places.
That is very true, and at the same time, Hasuobs is doing a counter drop, and he's taking out both the new Spires and, in fact, a lot of the other tech of Zenio. The thing is, can he actually engage Zenio's full army? I don't think so. His anti-air is limited to 33 Stalkers. Sure, he has Vortex, but I don't know if that'll take out all these Broodlords and all these Infestors.
Zenio is slowly encroaching upon Hasuobs' position here. He's basically been denying Nexi left, right, and center. There are still some Lings left in the main base, but the main base is completely barren now. The final building, the robotics facility, taken down. Hasuobs does still have those warp prisms. He has one at the natural expansion still at the moment, but the hatcheries more or less are still intact here. Zenio is mining a lot more than Hasuobs is at this point of the game, and he also has about the same size standing army. So all in all, Hasu at the moment, really difficult position.
He so is in this difficult position. Look at this beautiful fungal growths going down, starting to pick everything off, but the High Templars do come in.
Oh, we need one more. He gets one more. Are we going to see another Infestor move up? Yes, we are.
Oh, and those High Templars so low. 2 of them just barely making it out there with about 1 hit point each. But yeah, that's going to be a lot less feedbacks he can use. In fact, he's just going to go ahead and make some Archons at this point, which is actually what he needs to do. He really needs to land a nice Archon toilet here, because Zenio is just getting too big to fail.
Yeah, and we're in a position now where even if he lands a really nice Archon toilet, that doesn't necessarily win him the game either. He just needs to make... it might actually give him a good advantage, depending on really how good it is, but he needs to land it to not lose, basically.
Yeah.
And Zenio is already maxed out once again. The 4th base in the top left, very well defended there with those Stalkers, anticipating that Ling run-by from Zenio. And of course, what does Zenio like to do with his Ling run-bys? Attack at the same time. So we have the Nexus in the forward location being sieged up by these Broodlords as well. And look how much DPS those Broodlings have. That gets immediately taken out once again. Another drop in the main base as well. But of course, there are no buildings left. He's going straight into the natural. Hasu is being drawn and quartered live on television.
Yeah, I guess that is true. It's a little bit brutal right now. Zenio is absolutely everywhere. Hasuobs has things dying in every single location, but don't forget, this is still a situation which he possibly can come back from with a perfect Vortex or two. He has a ton of Archons out right now, but Zenio is adding a lot of Infestors, and Infestors can do a good job at stalling out and sometimes stopping a nice Archon toilet.
One of the things, though, that Zenio is doing so well that I think we really need to mention, Zenio's being so patient right now. He's not engaging with his full army away from the Spine Crawlers at the moment because he doesn't want to risk that Archon toilet. Why does he want to risk that Archon toilet? Because he's doing so well with these drops and these run-bys. He doesn't need to engage the full army because he's basically starving Hasuobs out because he can't mine, and Zenio can slowly build a bank on top of that. He's up to 3,000 gas at the moment, and yes, Hasu's pushing out across the middle of the map. Great fungal growth, though, but Hasu is in a race against time. A couple more fungals to soften that army up, and Zenio is just going to look really good.
Yeah, and he's killing the last remaining things that Hasu has, and here we go. This is the moment that Hasu has to strike. Can he break through this almost impenetrable defense with this many fungal growths? The answer may be no.
There we go. Both vortices being wasted on that mothership. That's what they were waiting for. Hasu had to go for that. He had to, because any longer, and once he got the vortex down, there'd be no more units to put in it.
And that was just so well done by Zenio. Zenio taking a big lead here, man. I mean, that was solid play. Hasuobs typed GG, well played, but it was really a VWP, a very well-played game by Zenio.
That is true. Hasuobs really struggling between the mid and late game there. Zenio doing a fantastic job of just being on multiple fronts. That's not something you always see in ZVP Artosis. We normally see a big, massive Death Bowl Zerg army with those Broodlords and those Infestors, and then he's slowly pushing forward. He didn't do that here.
He did both.
Well, yeah.
He did the Protoss roll and the Zerg roll.